So I think just because of time, we'll get right into it around the questions. So the first set of questions we're going to deal with is about getting into masters. And so we had 3 questions around that. We can do the formalities, and Neziswa and I can talk a little bit more about what we do towards the end of the conversation once we've covered all the questions. So I'm going to answer the first 3 around getting into masters for psychology. And our first question was, what personal qualities do you look for when considering an applicant? Our second question is, what professional qualities do you look for when considering an applicant? So I'm going to answer them both at the same time. So when you're applying for masters, it's already understood that you had a small research project when you were in honors before you applied to the master's program. We assume that you have a passion for psychology and learning more about people's behavior and the mind and the link between the brain and behavior, and also interested in the social determinants of health. We also assume that when you apply to this program that you're really passionate about helping others. And a lot of people who apply to the programs have those qualities, but there are indeed some personal qualities that we do look for. So we look for people who can think through situations. You are able to reflect on yourself. You're able to reflect on a case, and you're able to reflect on the role players within that case. So more often than not, in an interview, you will be posed a question involving a scenario that has ethical questions around it and decisions that you will have to make. And in your answer, what they are looking for is your ability then to reflect. And you can practice some of those things already at home. So if you think about a conversation you may have had with others, what was said in that conversation? How did you say what you wanted to say? Did you listen to everyone else's opinions? Could you think through and empathize with other role players in that scenario? So those are some of the personal qualities. We're also looking for people who are able to listen with understanding. So it's very important in your interviews that you listen carefully to the questions being posed. And it doesn't count against you if you ask for clarification by saying something like, I understand the first part of your question. Could you please clarify further the second part? Or I didn't quite get the gist of what you were saying in that question. Could you please rephrase it? That shows that you are listening for understanding. Some of the other personal qualities is empathy, able to relate to another person, and then just willingness to help and to give. I think for me, those are the important things that we do look for in candidates. What comes from your CV is different to what people are looking for in the interview. Your CV is going to tell us what you studied, what your grades are, intellectually what you've achieved. Right? It will give us some insights into if you've done any volunteer work or if you've worked or job shadowed anyway. But your personality is what is going to shine through into the interviews. And you're going to have a panel of other psychologists who also look at your ability to communicate and to talk with those in the room. How do you handle pressure? If you aren't able to handle pressure in an interview, then your master's program is going to be very difficult. I mean, a lot of the master's program is about dedication and hard work. You don't have to be a straight A student to know how to work hard and how to relate and communicate to people. I mean, good grades are a plus, but it's not everything. I've seen some students who are exceptionally smart students in that they've got A's and B's, and they still don't make it into the programs because of their maturity and because of their unwillingness to learn. It's always okay to say, you know what, I don't yet have the answer to that question, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to read up on it. if I think back to my interview that I had for masters, there were some questions I definitely did not know the answers to. And I said in that interview, I don't know the answer, but I'm willing to learn and figure it out. But what I want to do is this program, and I know why I want to do it, and I know what's going to bring me. So those are some of the personal and professional qualities: listening, hard work, determination, empathy, ability to reflect, and ability to communicate with others well, willingness to learn. Genevieve, do you want us to take questions at the end of every set of questions, or do we discuss the questions as we go?
I think if you can go through the questions that I sent you, and then we can take questions after that.
Okay. Neziswa, what do you think right now, or should I go to the next question about research knowledge?
Let me just add something. Hi, everybody. My name is Neziswa. I stutter, so if at any point in time I speak slower or something changes, it is just that my speech is fluent. The other learners covered everything, but the other important factor that you must have is that you must be able to work in a team. And working in a team means that it counts in your advantage if you are able to being led as much as you are able to lead. Thanks,
Yeah,
Lynn.
100%. 100%. So I'm going to move to our number 3 question, which is how extensive should an applicant's research knowledge or abilities be? So I think at this point, if you think about honors, when they look at your project, they're looking to see in your thesis or in your mini project that you write, that you know the steps of the research process. You know how to ask the question, you know what the parts of a research project are, and you can write that up in some form or the other. In a master's degree, they're looking at competence in specific modules and specific abilities. And then they're also looking at your ability to plan, implement, execute, and report on a research project. You can go into a master's program with very little research background, and you can come out a superb researcher, depending on how much you are willing to learn and to take in while you are doing your master's. Not everybody who goes into a master's program is a researcher from the get-go. The whole purpose of your master's is to specialize and to learn in that area that you are doing your master's in. There are counseling psychologists, clinical psychologists, educational psychologists who have very little research skills before they get into their masters. And they learn that while they are doing. There are people who are great researchers who decide to do a master's. As long as you have the basic research skills, meaning you know the parts of a research project, you know the difference between qualitative and quantitative work, a little bit about types of sampling, you know a little bit about asking a good research question. You don't have to know how to have done an interview before. Because the interview, you learn how to do the types of interviews. But if you know you have to do an interview in a qualitative research project, that is good. Okay, I will always tell people, read a basic research methods textbook before you go to your interview. It might be boring, but just learn some of the lingo and the words so that when you're talking in the interview, just throw in 3 or 5 of those terms. It makes it seem like you are really invested in the process. But you shouldn't have to have a master's in research before you even doing your research project for the master's. I would also advise that if you are thinking about masters, then see if there are existing research projects around that you can either volunteer on, be a field worker on, just so that you can get some real world experience in what the research project is all about. Now I'm going to hand over to Neziswa, and she's going to be talking through the questions related to internships.
Okay, hi again, everybody. So the one thing that I would like to add with regards to the steps in conducting a successful study is the evaluation aspect. So if you can help, if you are able to also go and read up on that, it will count for you. The other thing that is very helpful is to be able be able as much as you can. So it's things like working at department, at the mental institutions as much as you can. How that will help you is that you will be able to pick up on things that you might not always learn in the lecture room, and it also counts. It counts to your advantage on your CV. So to the questions that I will answer based on what was sent to us is regarding to the internships. How does one go about looking for an internship after completing a 1-year master's degree? And then can one only do their internship at one of the companies listed by the 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝑆𝑆𝐴? And how do you register with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝑆𝑆𝐴? So Lynn has uploaded a document in the chat. I think Genevieve has transferred that, but what the document has is a list of all the accredited 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝑆𝐴 internship sites. You have to work in one of them because they are linked to the 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝆑𝑆𝐴. And then what you could also do, what was helpful for me when I was busy with my aim is that I inquired with my psychology department, and they were then able to link me up with a suitable site. What is also helpful is that, as Lynn said, networking is quite important. So network as much as you can, be it at varsity, be it at our conference, but network. There are people around you that have got all the answers which you need. Sorry.
Hi
My
everyone, are you
network
still there?
broke, but I'm back now. So now I'm going to, can one only do the internship at one of the companies listed? Yes. You can unfortunately only do those which are listed by the 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝆑𝑆𝐴, and you cannot do it anywhere else. Do you have to register with the 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝆑𝑆𝐴 as a research psychology student doing masters in order? I'm here.
Are you back, Neziswa?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think the question you were on is, do you have to register with 𝑃𝑠𝑦𝆑𝑆𝐴 as a research psychology student during the masters to qualify to write the board exam? I think Neziswa is struggling with the connection. So she's covered number 1 and 2 in terms of the internships, and she has alluded to the document that Genevieve is going to circulate in the chat box. That document is from the PsySSA DRM, so you can also find it on the PsySSA DRM website. And you can download the document there as well. what that document outlines is how to search for your internship, organizations, universities where you can apply for internships, as well as some questions around what you must study and what you need to do for your internship. Neziswa, are you back here? Okay, so I'm just going to continue. Hi there. So I just recapped what you did on number 1 and 2 regarding internships. I just want to add a little bit that if you find a site or if you're in a geographic area where there is no accredited research site already, you are able to contact the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑆𝐴 and to apply to accredit a site. That site must have a registered research psychologist who is going to supervise you. And you can apply to you must apply first to the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑆𝐴 to get the approval to do it at that site, and then you can do your internship. That's if you're in an area where there is no site available yet. So Neziswa is back. She's going to respond to the next question, which is, do you have to register with 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑆𝐴 as a research student during masters to qualify to write the board? Neziswa, over to you.
Okay, there we go. Neziswa? Hi, Neziswa, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
I can hear you now.
Yes.
So question 3, please, Nez, about the writing the board exam. It seems she's been cut out.
No, somebody muted me. I can hear you.
Okay.
Anyway, stop muting Neziswa.
Neziswa, you're back.
Yeah, so where were we? Sorry.
You're going to answer question 3 about writing the board exam as a student to qualify. Registering as a student during your masters in order to qualify to write the board.
Yes. So when you are in your first year of your masters and you are looking to go into a research internship, you have to first of all be a registered student psychologist. What that will do is that it will enable you to write a board exam. I'm just going to remove my video because it is heavy on my connection.
Should I switch off mine also?
Yes. Yeah, your audio's on.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay. So what that will okay, so you have to first of all register as a student psychologist so that you can then be able to write a board exam. Then you can go and apply for a research internship, and after you've done your research internship, you must then write a board exam that will qualify you to become a psychologist. So you can't skip the one for another. But all of that is listed and included in the frequently asked questions document which has been circulated. Lynn, do you want to add something there, please?
Yeah. So on that, thanks, Nez. When you register, if you have bypassed the student registration and you're in your final year and you want to register as an intern, the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑆𝐴 deals with that on a case-by-case basis. So you'll have to contact the 𝑃𝑠𝑦-𝑆𝐴. They will then look at your case, ask you for your academic qualifications. I don't know. It depends case by case whether they'll give you a fine or tell you to pay a special levy so that you skip the registration. But there's no getting out of registering as a student and then registering as an intern and then registering as a psychologist. Because on your internship application form, it asks you for your student registration number. And on your psychologist application form, it asks you for your internship registration number. So you have to follow these steps that Neziswa has outlined.
Okay, you can proceed. Okay, I'm going to do then number 4 and 5, which is which businesses or institutions hire research psychologists, and what is the main focus of the research in South Africa. So I'm going to give all of us very good news that research psychologists are spoiled for choice. So we can work as researchers, we can in research institutions, we can work as lecturers, we can work at NGOs. So we are really spoiled for choice. But also in the frequently asked questions document, you will have, there is an outline, a guide that can actually enable you to look at how to go about that. So we are employable almost anywhere where research is being conducted. What is the main focus of research in South Africa? This question is very broad. So every institution has got a focus which they have set out for themselves as the goal or the purpose of that institution. So I can't really say, we can't say that this is the most important one, but research has to be relevant, and it has to be interesting as well. So if you are working on a study, or if you are working in a specific field, especially in the field of psychology, our work is linked to various balance, as well as also social problems. So you have to find how your interest is linked to each and work that in. Lynn, over to you.
Thanks, Nez, for that. Our next question is a very interesting question about what is the ballpark salary for a research psychologist. So I'm going to be very honest. It can be between 0 and in 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 90 to 100,000. It varies by industry. It varies around what kind of job you are doing, your where you are placed. You can have a research assistant job. You can have a junior researcher post, senior researcher. You can be a junior or senior lecturer. You can be a senior marketer. You can be an analyst. You can work for yourself. It really depends on what you are doing at the time. So I know you want to know what the salary range is, but it just depends on your the type of work you are doing at the moment and how much you are able to juggle. But the salary is very varied. But you're not going to be a millionaire being a research psychologist. Okay, so just get that straight. And lots of the work that you do is going to be for low salaries in the very beginning until you establish yourself as a researcher. And then I have an interesting question about, can your MA degree lead to international work? Absolutely. This is one of the most beautiful things about doing research, is that your networks of people are not just about who you can access around you. Lots of the projects we work on are with international partners, with national partners. A lot of research, especially the really good ones, have lots of collaborators from all across the world. So with your master's degree, you can do research assistant jobs, you can do junior researcher posts. Some places give you a senior researcher post with a master's and experience and publication. More on the ground types of NGOs will give you senior posts, junior posts, depending on your skill set that you've acquired. Lots of opportunities to do postgraduate diplomas or postgraduate degrees. further PhD opportunities overseas once you have your master's. So the opportunities are endless. The key is around networking. So I saw in the chat, there are some questions, but what I'd like to do before we go to those questions, Genevieve, is to maybe just ask if anyone has questions for clarification around the questions we addressed in the conversation.
Sure. If you have any questions, can you please raise your hand? There's a reactions option at the bottom of your screen where you can type your message in the chat. Any questions? No? Okay.
I see that we have about 8 minutes left.
Yes.
I think the questions posed in the chat might be linked to the ones we are asking for now.
Okay, so Neziswa, I'm going to let you answer the first one then about what the day-to-day job of the research psychologist or researcher is like.
Okay, cool. I'm a researcher at the Children's Institute. Before I was a researcher at the Children's Institute, I was a researcher for the South African Medical Research Council and for UNISA. So the day-to-day job varies. There is no set tasks that one has to do every day. You can work on multiple projects at a time that are sometimes not linked. So as we have said at the beginning, you have to be able to have a skill set where you can draw on. So it ranges from writing proposals, from doing a literature review, from collecting data and cleaning data and analyzing data, and writing reports, which are not the same as writing articles. Sometimes we go on conferences and we share our findings there. Sometimes we host workshops, and sometimes we are being workshopped. So it is a range of things that depend on the project which you are working on, and also based on the institute's needs where you are working. That's all for now. Lynn,
thank you.
Next.
Thanks, Des. So, I mean, I echo Neziswa's statements. We work on multiple projects that are not necessarily linked together or on the same topics. So I work at Stellenbosch University at the Center for Evidence-Based Healthcare. There we work on lots of systematic reviews, and I'm involved in lecturing. And I also run my own research consultancy, where I consult people in tutoring or help with data analysis, proposal writing, editing of theses, or just general questions and consultations regarding the research. But my job in terms of skills is also data analysis, lots of literature reviews, which I hate doing, but it's 100% part of my job. Working on publications, mentoring students, and then also module development and teaching a research method. So I think a researcher has, if you like variety and you like working on multiple things and you're good at organizing your time, then this is a career you would definitely enjoy. Genevieve, I see there are some questions. Do you want us to hold that while we go to the new link?
Yes.
Are you going to copy them into the chat again?
I've posted the new link in the chat. Has everyone received it? If you can unmute yourself or raise your hand if you haven't received the link. Okay.
So you're going to copy the questions into the new link?
Yes, I will do that. So if we can switch over to the new chat now, and I've got the questions, Lynn. So we'll answer the rest of the questions in the new chat. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you there now. Thank you.